Good, good evening, everyone. Or is it still good afternoon?
Oh, it's evening. It's
Okay.
evening.
Good evening. Good evening, everyone. And welcome to episode 2.
It's because I hear.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, you're making me nervous.
Uh,
Welcome to episode 2 of the Persevering with PCOS. I forgot the cameras here. I was looking at this. Welcome to episode and Welcome to episode 2 of the Persevering with PCOS live show. And I have with me a very special guest, my husband Darian, who is here to talk about a very important and special topic for us. And so if you're here, which I don't think anybody is yet, but if you're here, please say hi in the comments and let us know that we have somebody else eavesdropping on this conversation. So, welcome, my husband.
Thank you, my wife. It's good to be here. It's a pleasure. Sorry for making you so nervous.
It's okay.
Um,
It's not really you. It's just the topic that we're going to talk about, and the fact that it's going to be absolutely real because I didn't even get to prepare questions and whatnot. But we're going to talk about it. And before we even start, I'm going to also let you guys know that today is also a very special date. Today is 100 days till Christmas.
Yay!
I wish I had a
Christmas.
shack. Oh, you know what I forgot to do?
It's Christmas. Hey, Noel.
Let's do this since I forgot how to do this. How did I do this? I forgot. Is it that one? Is it there? Oh, it might be there. It might be there. Okay, just now. Just now. Oh, guys.
Yeah, sharing.
All right, like if it says two people,
Yeah.
but two people in separate places. Okay, never mind. I was trying to put like a fancy border, but it only happens if I have like two persons there. So that's okay. So welcome on one person who's watching right now, and welcome to the other people who are going to be on your replay. So I was just saying that today is also 100 days till Christmas, and Christmas is my favorite time of year. But it's not in the way that people would think. It's not that I would want to put up the Christmas tree too early, though I do want it to be put up early enough.
And then take it down like one day after Christmas finish.
Not one day, but just I give you until my birthday in January to keep it up. But it has to come down to that. It's special.
I find May is a good
So
time
it's
to take it down.
special to no, May is way too far. It's special to put it back up for Christmas. But I'm not into the too much of the presents and those things. But I just love the atmosphere of Christmas, and I love the time being spent with family. Though I know things are pretty different now, so we have to try to get creative if it's virtually or what. Um, but I do still want to go and drive and check out lights. So we may not be putting up lights, but if you guys are, I would want to drive around to see lights and just have those those experiences that just give me like this mushy feeling, like watching Christmas movies and having hot chocolate, even though he doesn't like hot chocolate. He could have his lemongrass moringa tea. But those things like that is what I look forward to. So tonight, what we are here to talk about really is whether or not we want to have another baby. So if you've been following me long enough, you would know a little bit about the story of my first pregnancy, and you would also see a little bit of the antics of our 3-year-old daughter, who is quite a hoot, very energetic. It's amazing that she's not bouncing off the old walls right now, but she has been all day. So she kind of taking a little.
She might be taking a breather.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah.
So our first pregnancy was actually not a bad one. It was pretty quote unquote smooth. when we found out I was pregnant in October 2017. But the road to that has been a little bit bumpy in the sense that, well, as you know, I did receive a PCOS diagnosis when I was 18 years old, and that really shaped a lot of things. It took a toll on my self-image and even on our relationship in different ways that I didn't even realize it was doing. Amongst other things, it wasn't the main thing, but it was one of the factors. And when we got married in 2012, it was after 7 years of dating. Oh, wait, wait, dating, and I put that in quotes because it wasn't. It was.
There's a lot
I don't
of
know if you call that dating or
meeting up
whatnot.
in school and
Yeah,
hanging out with friends.
yeah, and not getting and waiting by the gate because
Yeah.
my grandmother wouldn't let him in the house, and that's a whole other story that we could have, right? So when we got married in 2012, we really wanted to spend a lot of time together, and we weren't ready to try to have children as yet. Um, but of course, in the back of my mind, I always wondered if I would even be able to, because one of the first things that people tell you or your doctors tell you when you get that PCOS diagnosis is that you may have trouble conceiving. So it was always something that was lingering on my brain. But I try not to put too much thought into it. But because of that and other self-image issues, I know it would have come up from time to time in our conversations or when I was feeling like unworthy and feeling like I didn't deserve to be married to him because maybe I wouldn't be able to have a baby in future, which is not something that we should think as women because that doesn't really determine our worth. But I completely understand the feeling of inadequacy, of guilt, of embarrassment at times when you feel like you won't be able to have a baby. But I don't want persons to feel like that is what their worth is. Okay, so that's first. But in any case, um, and I was on the birth control pill as well because as you know, a lot of times when you do have PCOS, you are also prescribed birth control pill to regulate your period, which I've learned uh, most recently, like within my summit and all the other things that I've been doing. That birth control, while it does help you to regulate your period, sometimes you need to also look at the behind the scenes or the root cause as well. Um, it can help, but you need to also look at the behind the scenes causes of these things. Um, but then when we got married, it was okay to be on birth control for me because we weren't ready to have a baby anytime soon. um, but then I was just tired of being on birth control, having to be on it for whatever reason, PCOS or whatever. And I decided to come off it, I think, in 2014. And not too long after, my period did stop again. It didn't, and I think I started to put on weight as well. And we really thought that there was a possibility that I was pregnant, even though we weren't ready as yet. Um, we thought it was possible that we could be. And when it happened, I called my doctor right away. Oh, and I think we actually did some pregnancy tests as well, which gave us.
Which one was it? Clear Blue was the one that we used?
I think it was. Can we say names? There's one of them that, and I think we shared the story before, but there's one pregnancy test that gives you two lines. Like one line means not pregnant, and two lines mean pregnant, or something like that. But when I did that test, it was saying there was one very clear line and one very slight blue line. So we weren't sure. We were like, wait, does this mean that I'm pregnant? I'm not pregnant. I'm not even sure. So I sent him back to get his pregnancy test, one that was more clear. So this one says, okay, yes, pregnant.
How many months?
No, pregnant. How many weeks pregnant you are? So I was like, okay, let's do that. And when we did it, it did say I was pregnant.
It said yes, 6 weeks.
It did. No, well, yes, I can't remember how many weeks it said, but it did say that I was pregnant. So of course we believed that we were pregnant. but I wanted to. I called my doctor right away, and we had to make an appointment with her. But because of her schedule, we couldn't get an appointment until 2 weeks, 2 weeks away. So we booked it, and we said, okay, we would go to her. And in those 2 weeks, I just remember the idea of us actually having a baby started to feel good to us. It was like, okay,
You got really invested in the idea, like really, really invested.
yeah.
Uh,
Like he would talk to my belly, and yeah, things like that that you do. So when we went to the doctor's office to confirm or to check up or to see, at that point I didn't think it was going to be too much of a confirmation, but it was going to be like a check to see how far along I was and those things. And when our doctor told us that we were in fact not pregnant, I was very devastated. I could say we were very devastated. Um, I so yeah, so it wasn't the greatest feeling. But I think we came to terms with it. I know everything happens in a time. I mean, I don't know if I would have thought that way then, but and then afterwards, you started to see a lot more persons, close persons around me getting pregnant and whatnot. And while I was happy for them, I couldn't help but think that,
when it's my turn, kind of.
yeah, basically. So I had to go back on birth control pills to regulate my period again. And again, I'd made a decision to come off of birth control and to try to find other ways to get my period to be regular and whatnot. So I came off of it again in December 2015. And we were doing okay. We weren't really thinking about it too much, or at least I actually I was thinking about it. I still was thinking about it all throughout that time because people were having around me were having babies, and then there was one dinner that we went to, and I was telling my husband that, and that was September 2017. I remember it was restaurant week, and I was telling him that, you know what, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to let it go, and whatever happens is going to happen when God is ready for it to happen. And I always kind of imagine, that while I was saying that, like God was probably kind of laughing at me or at us, saying that, well,
Hope you're ready.
and maybe like the week after, I started feeling very nauseous, like an extreme amount of nausea that I've never really experienced before. And we were like, oh, this has to be pregnancy. It can't be anything else. But we still didn't want to believe it all the way because we had that false positive before. So, and the funny story, the funny story is like I sent this guy to go and get pregnancy tests for us. Oh, Texas. Hi, Dyla. I sent this guy to go and get pregnancy tests, hoping that he would remember what happened the last time.
I did not. And in my defense, I asked the ladies in Superfarm. It's like, okay, which one of these?
Out, so.
Yeah.
The ladies in a pharmacy that is unknown to us.
Which I asked them which one was the most accurate one because I explained the whole story of what happened the last time.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh,
and they were like, look, take this one. This one is like the most accurate stuff. It's not gonna be a problem. You're gonna know in like how much ever. I was like, all right, cool.
You didn't even look. You didn't even read it. You didn't even read. We've had this talk even up to today.
They are the subject matter experts. I believe the experts.
He doesn't read, but that's okay. So he came back home with the same test that had the 2 lines. I think I still used it. Yes, I did. But we were still not sure what the lines mean. Somebody needs to tell somebody to change that because I
what
don't.
What did when we went to get next one?
No, I mean but don't have the lines thing. Like yeah. Somebody could be colorblind. Somebody could have better vision than me. I could not be seeing it. It's so subjective. Yeah. It's so subjective. So forget those lines things.
Stick with the yes.
Just yes
and the no.
No. Yes. So then he had to go back again and get the other test that says yes, no, how many weeks. No, I think it says pregnant, not pregnant. They have real space
Yeah,
for
that
text.
one is
It's not like
a big window.
a Twitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Character limits.
They have a character. And that one said, yes, I was pregnant for about 6 or 7 weeks. But I didn't want to believe those tests anymore. So again, we went to the doctor. And
But you went to the doctor. I was.
yeah, I just
Yeah.
went to the doctor because I told him, I was like, I don't even think you should take time off of work to come with me because we don't know. I'll just call you and tell you what the news is. Okay, so I guess I wasn't very hopeful, but I was pretty sure. I was like, this nausea has to be something else. I can't deal with it. And the doctor, when the doctor told me that, or the ultrasound lady, because it was a separate lady, um, said I was pregnant. Like I didn't have the full reaction there. I went through, like, I guess I went through the emotions where, like, they told me congratulations and everything, and I'm just like doing whatever, and
Sure.
then they booked the next appointment for me to come in and check doc and everything, and I left and I was driving home and I called him on speakerphone. And in case Gary's watching, in case Gary, it was on speakerphone.
Safe drivers here. No demerit points necessary.
Nope. But I really didn't do it on speakerphone though. I feel like now I'm looking suspicious. I really did use speakerphone. I called him to tell him that I was pregnant, and we came off the phone.
I feel like I get a little emotional.
Yeah, me too.
Reliving that
Me too. I
memory.
I walked with stuff. One for me. I don't have any for you.
She didn't think I would cry?
No.
Yeah,
and I remember coming off the phone with him. I think. I still remember it so surely, and I can't. I think. And I just started crying. Crying and crying and crying. Like I couldn't contain myself and crying. And then later on he told me that he also cried. And he like had to take a space in work because men cry.
Because when I got the news, it was like okay, and then you sent me the ultrasound.
Oh yes.
And the ultrasound, that's when it hit me. I was like,
that whoa. Little peanut, the peanut gets you.
Yeah, I was like, it's like whoa. And I just had to take a moment. I just had to find a corner, and one of my batchmates saw me and he was like, everything all right? You okay? Anybody dead? I was like, no, boy. I was like, wife pregnant. With the biggest smile. Yeah, because he was there. He was like, you fine, man. I was like, all right.
It's like, okay.
You just see me crying by myself.
Yes.
You can be like,
it's okay.
Yeah.
Women can have moments. We need to stop that. Women can have moments like that all the time. And
so he was one of the first people that I knew actually.
Yes.
Yeah, because
because he knew, because you
told
him.
Because
he told us. And so that kind of began our journey, and it's been quite a journey. We actually did have a very smooth pregnancy. So I want to share this now with you. If you have been given a PCOS diagnosis, it does not mean that you can't have children. They're actually a great percent, I think 50%, I hope I'm correct on that, of women who do have children despite PCOS. So it is possible, and there are many people now, fertility care practitioners, maybe not as many in Trinidad and Tobago, but globally, and you can have access to them virtually. So it is possible, and there are so many ways that you can do it. So I just want to leave that there that it is possible, and it was possible for us. But it was not easy on my mental in the sense that now I felt a certain sense of pressure to be able to carry the pregnancy to term.
Bring this baby to term, especially after what the doctor told us.
Yes. So that was a little bit of a pressure. So I think we actually kept our pregnancy pretty under wraps. Well, the persons close to us would have known, and of course people working with me, they would see my belly. I'm gonna say people working at us, they would see my belly. But
like, I didn't
have a
belly.
I
had a sympathy belly.
Would know, but I actually kept it as under wraps as I could for as long as I could. And of course, superstitious Trinidadian Jamaican's mom, like my own, you try to, not broadcast it and so on. So, but I remember for any little thing, I would worry. Of course, it's my first pregnancy. And I remember having a day where I was spotting like very minimally, really and truly. But I saw it and I completely freaked out, and we went straight to the hospital to make sure that everything was okay. And it was, and
Yeah.
I learned afterwards that that actually is something that is kind of common, or
It happens a lot. It happens a lot.
yeah. But like we had a lot of moments like that. I was very I strict when it came to like I didn't want anything to jeopardize my pregnancy.
First baby, and then again, what the doctor told us about the whole your PCOS positive person, and it could have complications, and we're like, well, we didn't know anything, we didn't know any better. Even when we did research, a lot of things were saying different things about it. We was like, okay, just err on the side of caution, and just whatever the doctor said, do. Like, don't take any chances. It's the first child, we want to make sure that this child is okay.
Yeah. So which in retrospect, I mean, I don't know, but I still wanted to be safe about it. But there we were 9 months later in May 2018, and we had our baby. A baby girl. You'd see her if you check out my Instagram. You would see her even on YouTube. I have a couple of things with her as well, and it's been quite a journey since then. And I've reached a point, and I think I have more reached this point than my husband. Um, though he tends to go with what I want most of the time. Yes, happy wife, happy life. That's what they say. They don't say happy husband, better husbands.
Cumberbuns, I don't know.
Cumberbuns, it's cumberbuns. That's what I meant. I don't know what's cumberbuns. I was thinking cumberbuns.
Yeah, so just because something no rhyme with husband doesn't mean that we're not validated and our feelings don't matter.
Yeah. It does. But I have to take into account your feelings as well, because it takes two, baby,
to make a baby and to raise a baby.
It's a music break. So we're thinking about it, and but I don't even know. I don't have words to explain, but we're thinking about it because naturally we have this wonderful daughter.
She needs company. Let's just say what it is. She needs company.
I was trying to say it a little more delicately, but it has days when she's like, I miss my brother and sister. I want my brother and sister. And I'm like,
she started watching me like you have a name.
Let me go find them. Like, you have a brother and sister somewhere that you can bring for her? Because I don't. I don't know why she needs to, but
yeah.
But naturally, we see her growing up, and she seems ready for a sibling. In more ways than one.
See about that.
Yeah. But at least she thinks she's ready for a sibling. I don't know what she's gonna do about it.
I don't think that sibling is ready for her, if I'm being honest.
Because she's still on our bed, so that's a whole other thing that we have to try to get her out of the bed so we can make room if we want for another one. But it's a decision that we really have to think about. Well, I don't know.
I could say it's something that we've always wanted. We always wanted a boy and a girl. And we all throughout the course of our courtship and even early marriage, when we spoke about what our family would look like, we always talked about a boy and a girl, and maybe adopting another child at some point, because I mean everybody needs love. And even when the possibility came up of the PCOS, you may not be able to get pregnant, we always wanted children, so we say, because adoption will always be
an option.
An option. Yeah, it does. And then yeah, she would have worked with some an organization that volunteers in children's homes, and that even seeing these children whose parents weren't able to take care of them, um, even gave us a little bit more of drive to kind of like say, well, if we do have kids, if we can't have kids naturally, then we would adopt a child. That child would get all the love in the world. So it was always that idea for our family to have to be that picture, that 2.5 kids kind of thing. No more pets. We don't want pets. Sorry.
Pets are cute. They're just a lot of work.
Child, and a pet.
Though I have to say,
I don't think I could put any dog through that.
I have a friend who's a dog mom, and she tells me stories about her dog babies, and I could literally interchange my daughter with the dog, and it'll be like the same story. It's like, yeah, he was digging in the mud outside. Which no, she doesn't do that, but other things. I was like, it's like the same thing. Yeah, and our daughter loves animals, so we're gonna cross that bridge when we get to it.
I am not putting any animal through that. I'm sorry.
We talk. That'll be another discussion.
She would love them. Like if anybody remembers Elvira.
Oh, it's probably like Elvira.
That's from
Elmira.
Elmira is Elvira. From Tiny, like yeah.
With that old.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, so yeah, so that's one consideration, and that has been making me a little bit nervous about it, because to have another pregnancy again, as smooth as that one was, I know they say that sometimes the second pregnancy could be harder, it could be easier, you never know about it. But I'm really gonna, if it happens, if we decide and it happens, and we're gonna leave that to God to really take us through that. Yeah. But the other things that also kind of scare me is in terms of our marriage as well, because the first 6 months after we had my daughter, our daughter, it was very difficult.
My daughter too, I think.
It was difficult. It was more difficult, and I don't think we were really communicating well about it. So imagine this: before we were married. Let me see if I can do that math. 2012 and 2018. So we were married like 6 years before we had the baby in our life, and then I guess a little less than that, 5 months, and you do the math, okay? So we had a good at least a good 5 years together. Just me and him.
Just the both of us.
All the attention, all the time, together, doing, being us, going places,
living our best lives.
Yeah. And now there's another human to take care of, and of course, like because I'm the mom, it's kind of naturally is a lot on me, even though fathers do give a lot of support, and he did really help a lot. But because of just the fact that the boobs are with me, and because of his job, there are certain things that he wouldn't have been able to give like that full support with. And plus, our daughter was a different baby, I think. I think she came out of with this
all the attitude, and like you can see her personality from like minute one. From the time my mom tried to adjust her little beanie that she had on, and she watched my mom cut eye, like I have the video. She legit watched the woman cut eye.
Yeah.
It was like, with a look, I was like, why are you touching me? Like, I don't know you.
Cut eye, for those who may not be from Trinidad and Tobago, is like a side eye.
Side eye.
Side eye.
Yeah, she gave her a side eye. Yeah.
Why are you touching my hair, lady? I don't know you. I don't know you. So she was very attached to me, which is normal for a baby. But she didn't want to go by anybody else. Like, she had a hierarchy of who she would go by, and it was me, it was him, I
wasn't so high on the list.
No, you at first.
I was within
the first few weeks.
Yeah, because I was around.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was me, my husband, my sister, and then my grandmother. Actually, she didn't even go by my grandmother back then. So it was extremely tough time for me because there's a reason sometimes that there's a village of support when a baby comes around, like back in the day, because you need support and you need self-care. And I had a different mentality then when I was thinking. I was like, I need to know how to do this. All I need to be there 100%, 110%. And it was a little difficult to ask for the support all the time, but I needed it. And she was a baby who didn't want to go by anybody else. So I couldn't even give somebody her to hold for very long.
And the voice on this child, oh my god.
That was the thing. She was very. It's not like I always remember when I was in the hospital, the 1 or 2 days after you have a baby in the hospital, and so I'm in the ward that has many babies, and I remember babies crying, and when they started to cry, they would be in their little corner, and you'd hear like that was like the cry. When my daughter started to cry, it was like you can hear it through the ward and
outside the hospital. They think, what are you doing now, baby?
yes. And that continued. Even like she had the what they call the witching hours, where she would have times when she's trying to deal with all the things happening around her. So there were times that it would get very intense. Um and it was a lot on me to handle. But I mean, I think I've learned a lot of tools and skills and mindset scripts to kind of help me deal with something like that now. But in all of that, I wasn't fully considering how it was affecting him in terms of like that is the complete. First of all, he doesn't have me as often, or we can't be together in the way that we used to be. And then he couldn't help me as easily because in the first few weeks my daughter was still very attached to him, but when he had to go back out to work, um she that changed because she needed to see people.
She forgot my face.
Yeah, she needed to see people around, and
even or she was just mad at me.
Yeah, maybe. So he couldn't even really help me in that sense. So it really was a very, and I'm getting a little emotional thinking about it because it was a very difficult time. I think you talk a little bit because let me just capture myself. Like you explain like what it was like for you.
We moved from, like she mentioned in the earlies, just being able to pick up and go and do what we want. If we wanted to meet each other after work, go and have dinner, watch a movie, like our lives were completely spontaneous and carefree a little bit. Like if we just decide, hey, we're just gonna go stay in a hotel and not go home, like we would do that because we could, because we just had that level of freedom, and we did that for almost 5 years. It was just like that. We just up and go Barbados, or we just go across the Tobago. And
oh gosh, wait, you went Barbados like once, okay, like once.
I didn't say like once, but
okay,
like,
we just stopped to go Barbados. Yeah. It's like once.
Yeah.
And maybe I went once for work, but
so we had a greater level of freedom, and then to go from that level of freedom to having to keep another person alive is a completely drastic shift. And even when like we read the books, we watched videos, we did the research, and still being in the situation with a very demanding baby, it's a complete shift of everything that you knew before. So, and then your wife just had a baby, and you can't get mad at her because she just like, and because I was in the hospital room, and this woman was a champion, like not like Bravo champion, she had about 6 or 7 people around her cheering her on at the end of it. Because in the suite in Port of Spain where she gave birth, like they have multiple people were giving birth at the same time, and everybody had a team. And then like, how long were you in labor for? For like
4 hours or something. No, well, like after labor was probably like about 3 hours.
Yeah, and like people were just coming in, popping out babies, like baby.
I was like Rachel from Friends. If anybody Friends, nobody knows.
So they were just like everybody else who had on the separate teams, like, they had their babies, and then she was here, and like my daughter just didn't want to come. Like, she was just
I'm staying in here.
like typical, um, like her complete personality. She does everything when she wants to on her own timing. You can't, if she does something, she wants to do it, because you can't make her do anything. So she took, like, it was very, the nurses were discussing like C-section and all kind of thing, and then there was like this one old lady midwife Jedi nurse
Yes.
that was there,
I feel like she's from Black
and
Panther or
she
something.
just showed up, and she was like, "You pushing out that baby? You no C-section here today." She looked at me. She said, "Look at me, look at me. That baby, pop it out."
Mhm.
And they came and they were all like cheering, and everybody kind of got invested in. So I was there witnessing the strength, because like they had the thing attached to her stomach, and they were like, "Okay, you're having a contraction. It seems really bad," and she's there like, "Yeah, okay." So it's like,
It
what?
hurt. Okay, I feel like
So
I can't remember a lot of this, by the way.
eating all that pain, and then you see this her head, or the head of my daughter come out with all that hair, and you're like, and then you hear her cry for the first time, and they were like, "Hey, look at baby. Okay, get on the room." And I was just so overwhelmed, overcome emotion, that it always kind of goes back to like, well, I can't say that I'm feeling neglected, because like she just went through all that drama to have a baby. I'm gonna seem like the worst person in the world to say like, I need some you time right now. It'd be like fighting that competition, and that kind of feeling unable to communicate that fact, feeling guilty for even feeling that way, because I was like, well, I should be happy because I have a baby, and this child was like, and in the first couple of weeks when she was completely attached to me, and I think there was that like a week or so, like she didn't even want to go by you.
True.
And I felt good. I felt really nice. I felt like super dad at the time, and then to have to go back to work, and where I work is like, I work a week on, maybe like a long period away from home. And when I came back, like she was growing, I was like, well, who's this person? Like, I know this person. And she looked at me and she was like, yeah, who you? I don't know you. And we didn't have that same relationship that we had before. It's me and the baby, not me and Ashley. And yeah, so there was like an extra feeling of neglect now, because like, well, I can't be useful. I can't have you, and I can't be useful. So what's the point of me being here then, kind of
No,
thing.
I didn't think about that half as much. I think I didn't, but I didn't.
So it was difficult. It was a challenge, and then I wanted to throw tantrums just like a baby.
He did, and I think we didn't realize how much we were keeping from each other, or like, no, not addressing, like me just being in a zone where I was like, I just need to do this on my own, and him, feeling that guilt and the needing the attention but not wanting to stay it, and we didn't really communicate it, so it kind of came to a head and was very difficult.
It was a challenge.
Yeah, it was a challenge to the point where I don't know. It was a challenge, but thankfully we got through it, and now we're here today thinking about going through it again. And I think I do know that we have grown tremendously in these 4 years. We have been able to communicate more about our feelings. Like, I think we are at a point where we have been the most open about things. Like really open about everything, and having a little bit more patience, and knowing that we both coming from a place of love, and we don't have days where it's always hunky dory. I may be mostly at fault for that. But
Communication is still like, we still kind of need Google Translate just a little bit to speak to each other, because at times we get our wires crossed. Even something as simple as like what to bring home to eat for food and stuff like is always.
I mean, that's like a challenge, like worldwide,
that,
right?
so-
Like, who knows what they want to eat when you get go? She just eat for something nice. I mean, but we can't afford sushi every day, all day, which is going to be an interesting thing again when it comes to cravings. Because when I was pregnant the first time, I actually eat the healthiest I've ever eaten, which is good, which is good. You're supposed to. But I mean, like, in terms of the cravings, I couldn't have, like, if I would see like fast food, I couldn't have it. Like, I was feeling for the most home cooked food. Like, I wanted my grandma's sada roti and aloo choka. I wanted rice and dal and curry duck. Like, those things I was craving. And the only fast food I really wanted was pita pits. And anybody who knows me and knew through my pregnancy, I would have pita pits all day, every day, if I could have.
So much so that the pizza pit people in Trinity Mall knew me on like a first name basis. They knew what I was coming for. So many times I show up in the line, it's like, hey, dog, yeah, but all right, yeah. All right, yeah, we have you. How many? One or two? All right.
Yeah, they used to have, like, they used to kind of compete with each other to see who knew the order best. Because I started after a while, I was like, oh, gosh, I can't just keep going and asking pizza fit like sometimes twice in the same day. I need to send him sometimes too, so it kind of mixes things up. But they caught on pretty pretty quickly, especially when they would hear the order. If I would send anybody, they'd probably kind of catch on. But anyhow, so that was my thing. Pizza Pit, if you're watching. But anyhow, um, so that was a big thing. And this time around, I feel like if I'm pregnant again, I'm probably gonna feel for sushi because I just crave sushi now. Cook sushi because I wouldn't be able to have like raw and stuff like that. Would I even have shrimp?
Oh, they cook in the shrimp.
Okay.
Say avoid seafood.
I think in my first pregnancy, I avoided all of those things.
Avoided everything.
I avoided
like we were so.
But then I also avoided it because I couldn't help myself. I couldn't stand certain things. So there's that on your wallet again, and to talk about the fact that people do having children is an expense these days.
Always.
I mean, it's expensive, but I don't even like saying it like that actually, because having children is a blessing
and a joy. But it does touch your.
But it does cost a lot. Like, I was feeling so excited and a little sad because our daughter, she's fully potty trained now, so we don't have to go and get. Well, we still need to have some pull-ups, because bedtime. But I don't even think she really needs them. But so we don't have to go and buy diapers in that bulk anymore. But then, when I need a box to just put random things? What am I gonna do? I don't have anything, guys. Literally, I have a what do you call this?
A desk.
A desk. Oh, it's a desk. It's a small desk. It's a laptop desk. I have a laptop desk now to put my laptop to have my little episodes here. Before, it was a diaper box. Okay, and before that, it was. I moved up. Yeah, I moved up from that to a diaper box. A good while. I think you got this table for me like a month ago.
This year edition.
Month ago, maybe a month ago, maybe like 2 or 3 months ago. So we know that it is costly to have a child in this time, but it's not impossible. We can cut back on certain things. I actually have a goal now to live a more minimalistic life in terms of food. Food doesn't count. Food does not. I actually do crave like having less things, not spending money on clothes. Like, I literally, like, you're probably gonna see me wear this dress like 10,000 times if I can. Right here. You should count it. If anybody is subscribe to my YouTube channel and see how many times I wear this. I want somebody to keep track of that and let me know. So I do want to live a more minimalistic thing. So people need to stop bringing my daughter things. Okay, I'm sorry. My mom-in-law and sister-in-law brought something for her literally tonight. But we barely buy things for her. I think we bought maybe like 1 to 5 presents for her, if so much.
Yeah. She's a very blessed child.
Yes. And a lot of children get a lot of stuff. So we just want to, cultivate that and maybe give away her toys to people who
we want to get her in the habits of liking giving.
Yeah.
So pray for us about that one.
Yeah. She has her moments and she's ready and stuff. But I don't know if we're digressing, but I think all of those things are things that you have to consider in those things, as well as even like being current environments where you have to, there's like virtual school and whether it's homeschooling or virtual schooling. And I think I have a limiting belief that I am not equipped to be the best homeschooling mom. So kudos to all the homeschooling moms who are doing that. Um, but all those things and thinking about safety, because sometimes I have moments, literally, guys, where I look at what's going on in the world and in our country and just in general, and I feel like it's like, how can I bring a child here to and be worried about it, and to in a place where sometimes you feel like it's bleak sometimes. But I'm also a very hopeful person, and I do believe in the goodness of people and this world and in God. And I do feel like our children can make such a big difference in the world today. But I also am also thinking about the children who are here already and who need that guidance, and that love as well. So, that is always a consideration as well. But it's so many factors, but I do feel like I am really ready to try and see how things go. I know things are different for me in terms of my body and my age, but I don't even think about that very much anymore. I
People
just
having babies at 50 all kind of
yeah. And I am actually going into a much deeper. I always lose words. I hate that. A deeper
realm.
realm of my knowledge. I'm gonna be looking to gain as much knowledge as I can about the condition PCOS, about just healthy living in general, to help things. And so you guys are gonna be on the journey with us, um, to see how things go. If we fully decide yes, no, maybe, what it is.
Just let it be. Like, well, happen.
Yeah, I think he that's his mindset all the time, and I think I'm more that way now than I did before. I'm trying to not to have too much of a set goal in my mind. I mean, because I literally was thinking, I was like, if we get pregnant now, she or the baby could all be born in May, and then we'd have like a whole May bash, because my daughter is in May, he's in May, or anniversary is in May, the other baby could be in May. Like I was thinking like that as well, but I mean, who knows? Who knows? Maybe it'll be a January baby, like me. But I guess it'll be next January.
Because I've always been of the opinion, because I wanted a girl first, because I always believe that girls love the dads more than anything else, and it's kind of true. Like she's my homie. She's like my best friend.
Homie is over.
Yeah, it's like my little riding partner. So
wait,
yeah, no,
never mind. I don't know. I was listening. I wasn't listening.
Like our daughter, like she and I are best of friends. So yeah, I got my princess. I got my little girl. I have my shotgun ready. I am good to go.
Yeah.
So when we get the boy will be for her.
Yeah, but I do want a boy as well, so I can have my little prince as well. But I guess at this point, it's if we have a healthy baby. And we keep the communication lines open, as Nyla is saying here. She says, communication is key. It is always something as couples need to continue to work on. Oh, you all are doing great. Wishing you blessings to this journey. Oh, she says, I am ready. I think I am. Yeah. But we're gonna see. I
think you are.
Yeah, I think there's something the way I think like God works with me.
You know what would be really funny? What would be really funny is if 9 months later we have like the same joke that we had the last time. That would be very funny.
And what would be less funny is if when it happens that he goes and buys the same pregnancy test with the 2 lines.
I'm probably gonna get it again.
I hope by then.
I can't remember now which one was the one I bought. So it could happen. It could legit happen again.
No,
Oh.
I'm going to. You know what? Forget it. I
You
would
buy it
go for it.
yourself.
I would go for it.
You see how hard it is. You know what? You need to
It's
go and
not.
buy it yourself. You'll see
It's
how,
not
because
hard
there's
at
so
all.
many choices. And then
Like
when
so
you
now,
ask,
listen. Shh.
because there's so many choices.
Mm.
And then when you ask for a recommendation, that's the one they recommend.
Well, maybe they're correct, and it is like
Uh,
the most accurate one.
if you
But for
can't see,
who?
if you can't see lines,
But for
how
who?
makes sense?
We need to like have a kind of like a review something. I
Yeah,
mean,
it
if
was
you guys
like,
want to sponsor us, still that's fine.
but then we have to
We'll
get
use it.
pregnant
We'll use it.
to test you. It was like,
But upgrade. Take a little feedback. It's not failure. It's feedback. Okay. So, guys, I don't know if I covered all the points that I wanted to talk about it. Probably covered more and then some. But I just want to encourage anybody out there who's trying, who is feeling inadequate or feeling pressure. Don't worry about it. Everybody's journey is different. You do you. You do what's best for you and your situation, for your family.
Just let it be.
Yeah. As women, we are born to create and to nurture, but we could do that in so many other ways. It may not necessarily be like birthing a child, but you could birth a movement. You could birth a platform. You could influence the other children in your life, the other people. You could contribute.
So many little children out there that need love, that don't have it. Like, just if you have love to give, give love.
Yeah. So, yes.
That's real for that love thing.
Yeah, I was just like, I thought I was gonna have like, I was gonna come up with something like really thing, and you just kind of like.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. That's what we're here for. So thank you guys for like joining us here. If you have any other questions of what you want to know, if you have any other advice, any other encouragement, please drop it in the comments. Make sure that you subscribe to the Mind of Yash YouTube channel for future episodes and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified. That's what it does. So you'll be notified when I go live.
Notification bell might notify you, I think.
I need to work on like what my YouTube spiel is. I still don't know.
Like, share, subscribe.
Like, share, subscribe.
Put it down in the comments.
Because I remember last week I had a wonderful guest, Monica Cormier, who came to talk about she's a dietitian and a hormone expert, and she was sharing her wealth of knowledge in that area. And I remember we came to the end of the interview, and like I had no idea. I was just like and I forgot, like, I need to say, hey, subscribe to my channel. Hey, like this video. Hey, share it with somebody you think it would help. So I'm going to try to continue to do that as I get a little bit more accustomed to the YouTube world. And thank you all for like joining in and even for watching the replay. I did not mean for this to be 53 minutes and 18, 20, 19, 20, 21. Like, you get the point. So I think I'm going to stop now. Might be a good idea. Because I actually have to run onto Clubhouse now to have a trivia time with my wonderful friend Shreesh. So if you're on Clubhouse, come and look for the Shreesh and Yash Club on Clubhouse. So thank you guys again. Something just flew past me.
Thanking me for being.
Oh, and thank you to my guest. Wow. My guest who always comes through for me.
It is my pleasure to be here, speak with all you wonderful people, and to cheer on this wonderful woman. Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome.
You do have a lovely evening.
Same to you.
Okay.
Bye, guys.